Hello, it's Crafty Carol here with another little video for you, and today I'm going to make some cards using the Sketched Butterfly bundle, which is just gorgeous. It's from the annual catalogue, and you have these lovely sort of scribbledy, sketchy butterflies. You've got this little group of butterflies, some gorgeous sentiments, and in the bundle there are a whole set of lovely dies. The outline dies here will cut out all of these butterflies. You've got a solid butterfly die, and you've got these lovely lacy pattern butterflies, which I've made other cards with, which we're not going to show today. I'm just going to show the stamped butterflies. And I wanted today to be all about making easel cards. Easel cards are really simple cards, and they're very simple to make. And I'm going to show you how to make both a landscape and what's the other way? Portrait and a portrait one. So I have done a lot of preparation because you don't want to see me sit and colour butterflies all day. So yeah, you'll see I've got a lot done. So let us start with a landscape one. Portrait one. Oh, get this right. Honestly, I don't know. I can't speak today. So I have for a portrait card, which is sort of, it's going to open this way. You'll see in a minute. I've cut a piece of A4 long ways. So I've cut this at 10.5 centimeters widthways, and the whole length of A4, which is 29.6 centimeters. In inches for the American measures, it's 11 inches long, and I've cut it at you'd cut it at 4¼ inches. And you're going to score first in the middle. So for the American, that's scoring at 5½ inches on your 11-inch strip. For the British 29.6 centimeter strip, you're going to score at 14.8. So that's the first score line. Then you want to make a second score line, and this will create the easel card. And basically, you want to score so that one edge of the card is cut in half. So we know this is 14.8 wide, so we want to score it at half of that, which is 7.4 centimeters. For the lengthwise card, you're going to score at 5½ centimeters, so you want to score at 2¾ inches. So for inches, that's the inch measurement, 2¾ inches. For centimeters, it's 7.4 centimeters. So I'm going to move using my guide on my trimmer, keeping my card right up here. I'm going to move the edge of my card to the mark where it's 7.4 centimeters in inches, it'll be a little bit less than this. It'll be 2¾ inches. And I'm going to use the scoring blade. Really important to score the correct blade. So that is the simple way to do it. So here I've now got my 2 score lines. So now I can fold my card, and I always look to see where the cut edge of the card is because I tend to have that inside. So that's fine. So I'm going to find my bone folder, making sure the edges of my card line up properly. I'm going to fold that bit. And then the second fold, I'm going to fold the same way. So I'm folding that in as well. And it should meet the inner fold right in the middle as this one does. And that basically forms the easel card. So I've already done the inside of the card, and the inside layer is very simply the usual inside layer, my slightly smaller one. So for centimeters, 9½ centimeters by 13.8 centimeters. In inches, that would be 3¾ by 5 inches. And there's just a little bit of roughness on there, which I shall just trim. Don't know why. Just a little bit of, just rough there. There we go. I've already stamped my inside because, again, I don't want to show you this. I've used the little group of butterflies here, and I've just stamped them in the corner and then coloured them in the same colours that I've coloured my butterflies on top, which you can see here. So this is my inside piece, and I'm going to stick that in first before I start fiddling with the rest of the card, mainly because I want to use it to sort of check I've got it just about right for when I put my easel bit on. So that's this bit. So I'm going to stick that in now, just again lining it up so I've got the same space all the way around. And this is my easel bit. So where I want the easel to sit, to be honest, when they're this sort of, if I'm doing it this way, the easel's should sit down anyway if I've got this properly. There we go. But you can put your sentiment here to act as a stopper. I'm not going to bother. I'm actually going to put it on the card for this one. But if you wanted to, you can put a sentiment just raised up slightly, or even just say a couple. I've just got bits here. I've got a little scrap of my grey granite. Should have said what I'm using. Berry burst for that. Grey granite I've used. And I've just cut a little, this is just a scrap, and I've cut a piece of basic white to match that. And I could put this here as a stopper, but I actually don't think you need to for this card. It'll actually sit, as you can see, just like that. So I am going to make the sentiment though, and I haven't stamped that yet. So I am going to just use Memento for that. And I've used the Wishing You a Beautiful Birthday. So I can stamp that onto my little scrap, which I have already checked is the right size. I'm not just doing this by guesswork. You just want to cut your scrap to match your sentiment. So this is, I think, 6 by 3 centimetres. Goodness knows what it is in inches because I haven't measured that. And I've just cut my scrap half a centimetre less all round, just to give me a little scrap to stick on here. So that is my sentiment done, and I'm going to stick that on. I'm going to stick it on flat on the top and then add it to the card with dimensionals. As I said, it's up to you whether you put it on the front of the card or on the base to act as the stopper. I actually don't think you need to for these small easel cards. If you're not putting too much weight on here, you don't need the stopper there, but I'll add it in a bit. Now, because this card comes up like that, you don't want to leave this sort of looking empty or useless. So I'm going to actually stick a piece of grey granite across the centre, but I'm only going to stick it on this lower half. I'm not going to stick it on the upper half because I want it to sit up like this when the card is put together. So I'm going to stick that on now. So I'm only putting glue on the bottom half of it. Important, because otherwise your easel won't work. And then we can put this in the centre. So I'm just eyeballing it. Oh, I've got glue where I don't want it. Just eyeballing it in the centre. Stick that down there, so it'll stick on this side. And then the easel piece itself, as you can see, it acts like that. So when you first get the card, it looks flat, and then it will sit up like that. So, decoration. I have actually stamped already and coloured already the large butterfly, the sort of sideways on butterfly, and one of the small butterflies. And I've actually already coloured that. I'll show you how to colour it on the new one. And I just want these to sort of, I can have them sticking out. That can be useful. I am going to stick them on with dimensionals so they show. And these are what is going to just sort of float around the card. So I can stick them on this side because this will be flat. I could put a decoration on there. I'm not going to bother. And then my sentiment just goes in the corner here. So I'm going to add all of these with dimensionals. You could put some flat, totally up to you. If I can find my dimensionals, where have they gone? Here we go. So just a couple on my sentiment. Oop. And I'm going to stick that on first because I want to make sure I've got my, there we go, want to make sure I've got my butterflies in the right sort of place. And then I want my top wing to stick out. So I'm not going to put a dimensional on there. I'm just going to put it on the bottom bit, if you like, of the flower I'm sticking on. And then you can see I've just done these. I've stamped that on at one I've already stamped, but that's okay. And I've cut these out just with the outline dies. So I want my wing sticking up here. So I'm going to have my big butterfly here. Yeah, about there. And then my smaller butterflies. One just overlapping my sentiment a little bit. And the other just fluttering along here somewhere. There we go. So really, really simple basic card. If you wanted, you could emboss this bit. I just left it plain because I really want the butterflies to show that they are the most beautiful bit. If I sort of turn it sideways, you'll see it just sits up. As I said, you could put a little something in here just to hold it up as an edge. I don't think it needs that. It's up to you whether you do that or not. But there's room to write a little message around there, and it will still sit up on a shelf just beautifully. So that is how to make it using this bit. I might put something up there. That is, to me, a little bit blank. I might add something in a bit. But it's the making of the easel card I really wanted to focus on today. And you can do exactly the same thing using a landscape card. And here I haven't finished one butterfly because I wanted to show you about that. And I also wanted to mention these dies. When you are cutting out with these dies where there's an antennae in the butterfly, look through. I'll try and show you on this. You won't be able to see it so well, but when you've stamped your butterfly, when you actually come to cut it out, when you look through, if I just move that, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can actually see the antennae through, and that's how you line it up. Line it up over your antennae first, and then the rest of it will just sort of come into line. And that makes sure that when you do die cut, you get the antennae cut out properly as well. So that's my tip for these dies. Use these dots, they're in there for a purpose, so that you can look through and see where your stamping is to get the die lined up properly. So that was just my little tip for those, and I did want to mention that. Right, let me just get on with colouring this. So I'm using, just to sort of match, I'm using the Bubble Bath blends and Pool Party blends, because I think they actually go very well together. And I've just done the same sort of colouring on each of the butterflies, which is using a sort of my Bubble Bath sort of in the middle here, and for the main stem, I'll use the light one here. So I'm just colouring this, just doing it very, very quickly, because obviously it's boring watching people colouring. But I have used the darker blends as well, which I'll show you in a minute, just to add a little bit of depth for them. And I've coloured, as you can see here, I've coloured the butterflies on the inside page in the same way, just in the same colours, so that you do get a little bit of contrast and sort of flow throughout the card there. So I'm just, and you can use the sort of colouring, the shading on the sketch butterflies to give you an idea where to colour these bits, and just to sort of add in the darker shade where there is some shading around the butterfly. Put some in there as well. So you see, I'm not taking too much care on this, because the sketching takes care of it really. The sketching underneath that you see through the colour that you put on. And that's just giving the butterfly a little bit of depth. And to finish it off, a little bit of Wink of Stella. Because Wink of Stella makes everything beautiful. And I'm basically colouring more or less the whole butterfly, to be honest. Certainly the pink bits and around the edges. Ooh, there we go. I'm not sure you can see, it's difficult to show Wink of Stella on film because you can't really see the glittery bit. But it is there, and I have coloured all my butterflies. I should have said on this card as well. I've actually coloured all the butterflies with some Wink of Stella. I'm not sure you can actually see it so well, but it is there, honestly. Believe me. So, the landscape easel. Again, it's very, very simple to make. This time I've used my usual half of A4 card base, so that's 21 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres. In inches for the letter-sized cardstock, 8.5 inches by 5.5, and you're going to score them for centimetres, score at 10.5, for the inches you score at 4 1/4, and then we're going to score one side in half again. So that is 2 1/8 in inches, or 5.25 centimetres in centimetres. So how do we get to 5.25, you ask? I have shown you this before, but you just go in between. So that would be 5.5. So 5.25 is absolutely in between the second and third marks along. So you can actually put it so that you've got a little tiny space there. I hope that makes some sense. And then again, making sure it's nice and straight, just score along there. And that gives you your 2 score marks. So again, very simple. I'm going to fold it in half now and burnish as before. And again with the quarter, fold it over, burnish well. And the key for making it work is in the burnishing. So don't stint on this bit. That is really important because that is what allows it to just sit up, okay? So again, I've already done my middle. I haven't put any sentiment in the middle because I'm making this a thank you card. And when you make a thank you card, I like to leave it blank in the middle so that there is lots of space for people to use to write a message. So here we go with the centre. Again, I've just coloured the butterflies at the top in exactly the same way as before, using the Pool Party and Bubble Bath blends. Then I've got my butterflies here to stick on top, and again I've got my piece. I might just emboss that this time. This time it's a narrower piece, it's the width of my card, and just in terms of size, I didn't mention size for it, but I like it so that you've got a sort of, it's midway between the two, not so it's exact thirds. The middle piece needs to be bigger than the other two pieces, but you want it so it sits across the middle and just gives you a little bit of an edge, so that you've got something to stick your butterflies to, so they'll stick up just like with this one. So again, it's the same principle. I'm going to put glue on the bottom half only of this piece, which is my back. That's my back. So again, just bottom half only. Put some glue on that. And then stick it. If you wanted to make sure the glue doesn't go on top, then stick it just with the back actually folded back on itself. Make sure that's straight. Ooh, go straight. There we go. And that will make sure there isn't any glue here. But if you've put the glue in the right place, then you're fine. So there is my card here. Just going to sit up as a little easel card landscape this time. Again, I've already made this. This time I might just stick this here so that I can show you how it uses itself as a stop. And with both of these bits of card, the thickness is enough. You don't need to put it up on dimensionals. You just need to stick it on flat. I'll show you. Because that thickness is enough just to hold as an edge for your easel card. The more decoration you put on the top of easel card, the more you are going to need to have some sort of block here at the bottom. So you can see how that just acts as a block, and the easel card will stand up there. And I have still room to write a message there. Do be careful when you are writing your easel cards. If you write in this bit here, that's sort of sitting up on the easel, your recipient will be able to see that when they stick their easel card up. Up to you, it's if you want to do that or not. So again, I just want to put my butterflies up on dimensionals. So I'll do the same thing. I want this butterfly again with its wing over the top, so I only want to put dimensionals on the bottom part of it. There, I might put 3 on this time. Make sure it sticks. Then we'll have some on this one. And just one on this little baby one. There we go. So again, I could put a sentiment on the front. I might do actually just to add to this one. So I'll stick my butterfly on. I'll have him just there. And here you can put ribbon round. You can add so many things round these cards and add extra bits and put some gems on, which is what I'm planning to do on this one. So just to have my butterflies there in the centre. So there's my little easel thank you card. And just to finish it off, I seem to have lost my gems. Where are they? Oh, here they go. I'm just going to use some little glittery gems on each of them. Put that down. Might put some gems on the top there actually, because that would just give a little bit of interest to the top, even though you won't actually see those. I might just do that because I think it would just add to the card. Have some up this side actually. Ooh. My gems are jumping around. Don't want to play ball. I should get my little tool out actually. And again, always have odd numbers of gems, especially if you put in them a little line like that. And then I think I might have a couple of small ones just down here as well, just for birthday here. One over there. And one on the birthday, I think. There. So there's one card. I'm going to finish this one in the similar way. So we'll have a little line of gems this side this time. And some down at the bottom too. That's another thing I do. I tend to just put the gems on the outside. The bigger gems on the edges. I don't know why, I just think it looks better. There we go. So there are my 2 easel cards. I hope you like them. Giving you an idea. As I said, you could add so much more. You could emboss this centre bit. You can add a ribbon round. Totally up to you what you want to do. I wanted to make the butterflies the focus, and because I was doing them in quite sort of subtle colours, I didn't want too much else around the card to take away from them. But I'm really quite pleased with those cards. I hope you like them. I hope you have a go at easel cards because they're so easy. As I said, you just think about normal card base, folded in half, and then fold the front bit in half again. So you've got sort of half and half, and that is what forms your easel card. Whether it's landscape wide or portrait wide, there we have it. So thank you for joining me today. All of the instructions for the cards are on my website at craftycarolscards.co.uk in my Craft Along blog, which the latest blogs are always on the front page of my website. And please do like this channel if you enjoyed my videos, and do give me a comment below what you think of these cards. And I hope you have a go at an easel card. Let me know what you make. Thanks for joining me again today, and bye for now.